Hey class, I'm coming here to you today to talk to you about the definition essay. The definition essay is on chapter 8, so you'll need to read chapter 8 and you'll want to look at that chart. Basically what you'll do is you'll work from that chart to create your own definition. This is kind of a rudimentary argument in the way that you're creating a definition and then you're supporting it with 3 criterion. But it does require a lot of research to prove that what you are saying is true. And so now you're kind of proving anything you want. If you look at the definition essay folder, one thing you'll see is I've done a TED SFX. Scott Hess does a piece about millennials. Millennial generation are the ones that are, well, most of you are probably millennials, but they were born somewhere around 1980 until 2000. There's a younger generation that we've not yet termed, Generation Z, but we're basically comparing baby boomers to millennials in this video. And what he does is he looks at something and says millennials are, or the millennial generation is, the best generation. And so according to your text, a definition essay is stating that something is or is not based on certain criteria. And so he's done that with the millennials, and basically at the end he does a good comparison of different artists, different things, different ways of acting, and how the millennials are, or millennial generation is, the best generation. And so kind of look at that, compare it. You may not agree, and that's fine. Every generation probably thinks they're the best. But the fact of the matter is he does a good job making you understand that they are the best because of this, 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 this. Now your goal in your essay is to come up with something that says such and such is or is not because A, B, C. So here's an example. I would always say that, for me, a good one is that cheerleading is a sport. Is it? Isn't it? It's tough to say because obviously, like anything else in this class, it could go either way. And so most people that choose that want to support that cheerleading is a sport. So your 3 criterion would be A, there's competition, just like any other sport. B, there is a athletic prowess necessary to be part, just like any other sport. And C, that's kind of up to you guys what you might come up with. But obviously you can compare that anybody in a sport would have to be athletically inclined, just like in cheerleading, because a lot of the moves are different. There's competitions, right? So there's people that travel all over the place for competitions, just like in any other sport. And so if you find research to support that, then you can support that whole argument pretty well. Now I'm not sure if that one's going to hold through for 3 or 4 pages, but some people might look at it and do something a little different. Someone always wants to tell me that marijuana is a medicine because it has healing properties, has been proven. That it is pain relieving, more or less, right? And that it has minimal side effects, which most medicines do have minimal side effects, though some. But basically, I don't care what you guys decide. I would email me and run it by me, but since this is such an accelerated summer course, you know, you can go with what you want to go with, but I would certainly run by me an email or something just to make sure that I think it's a good idea, because sometimes there's just bad ideas. I had somebody in a class one time, I don't think she ever made it through the class, but her definition was the word twerk. I don't know what she was trying to prove. She certainly misunderstood the project, but she wanted to explain to me what that word meant. So you're trying to define something based on 3 criteria. So you can do whatever you want. One that I always think is funny is that, and if this offends anyone personally, I do apologize in advance, but I've always been told that kids are not the reason for a divorce. Okay, but if I wanted to do a definition essay, I could easily say the reason for any divorce is the children. You look at me like I'm crazy. It's just a research paper, but you can prove it. What are some of the things in a marriage that cause people to break up? Lack of time together. Well, kids are in the way. Money problems. Kids are expensive. And then of course, you know, you want to get some time with your spouse. You can't. The kids are always around. They cause arguments. There's lots of things. Any good relationship can probably get through these things, but if your relationship isn't strong enough to get through those things, it can certainly cause a divorce. Or you could say that maybe it's not. Maybe it's the relationship, right? Children are not the reason. There are a lot of folks in the nursing field that say the nurse is the most important part of the medical field. Money aside, they're with the patients far more than the doctors. And so they give bedside care. They give all kinds of, just attention to the people that they need because you want to be attended to. And so anyway, you can kind of go any way you want on this. And the more creative, the more ludicrous, maybe the easier to research. But do remember that you have to have a full works cited and everything else, and that it does have to be something provable, right? So you can't go too crazy. And so that's about it. Just make sure you read through Chapter 8. Make sure you filled out the actual guide. And don't forget to look at the peer edit sheets as well as the rubric because they are very telling. You do want to know how I grade because by knowing how I grade, hopefully you know how to get an A. Alright folks, well good luck, and as I said, please run anything by me that you want. I will be around. Thanks.